The Secret Service making no changes to its security plan for the RNC, even as it faces criticism for how it handled the assassination attempt on former President Trump.
Just to be clear, did you or did you not make changes to the security plan based on the events of yesterday?
There have been no changes to our current operational security plans for this event. We have an operational security plan that's built out for every area of responsibility related to any and all aspects of security related to this event.
Tim Miller is a former Secret Service agent, and he joins us now. Tim, good morning to you. We'll get to the RNC in just a moment, but first want to get your assessment on the current criticism of the Secret Service. What are your thoughts on their setup on Saturday, their security plan, and also their response after the shooting took place?
Well, good morning, guys. And I'll tell you, I'm conflicted because on the one hand, the advance was an absolute disaster. Couldn't have been worse. Rookie mistakes made. On the other hand, watching Trump's detail do what they did after the shots were fired was astonishing. They were as professional, as efficient as they could have been, and they handled the situation well. But the bottom line is every Secret Service agent knows, I've done hundreds of them, that the true security of the site rests with the advance agent. And we learned a long time ago, as a matter of fact, in 1963, when President Kennedy was shot, if you're up in an elevated position and you have a rifle, that you can easily do a lot of damage to the president and to others. So that's really issue number one when you go onto a site. Where are the high places? How do we protect them? We do it a couple different ways. We do it either visually, drones, those kinds of things, or we post. And given that this was one of few buildings there should have been an armed police officer standing on that roof to make sure that what happened didn't happen.
Okay, so with that as the backdrop, are you okay with that answer we played before we got into your segment, that no changes really are being made in anticipation of the RNC? Are you confident that all the work that you said needs to be done was done in preparation for the RNC?
You know, I'm reluctant to second guess other agents, but I got to tell you, that was the wrong answer. The right answer would have been, you know what? We're reviewing everything, top to bottom. We're looking at everything afresh, anew. I've done these conventions. I've been part of the security team. It's a massive endeavor. And remember, folks, all it takes is one chink in the armor and a president gets hurt or killed. So I think the Secret Service as a whole has to start looking at foundational things again. Who are we hiring? How are we training them? How do we guarantee that our mission is accomplished? And that's kind of the problem in a number of areas. The border, you look at Afghanistan, the mission is not being accomplished. And there's no accountability when there are big fails. So we'll see as the investigation comes out. My hope and prayer is that the Secret Service would look at it objectively and they'd say, hey, wait a minute, we have the highest calling in the nation. Protect the leader of the free world. How do we get this done?
Well, on that note, Tim, there is a new focus on the Secret Service director. Her name is Kimberly Cheatle. And she said that her focus was on diversity in a 2023 interview. Take a listen to this.
But the Secret Service's departure rate was 48% last year, due in part to the high demands of the job. To expand hiring, they're aiming to have 30% women recruits by 2030, and even allowed YouTube influencer Michelle Carre to train with agents.
But I'm very conscious, as I sit in this chair now, of making sure that we need to attract diverse candidates and ensure that we are developing and giving opportunities to everybody in our workforce, and particularly women.
What do you think about that comment? Do you think that should be her main focus? Should her main focus be on investigative work that the Secret Service does, as well as keeping people alive, or is that baked into her answer as well?
Well, let me go back to what I just said. It's not about her. It's not about a particular group. It's about the mission. And let me just say this. When you work in the Secret Service, the reason the departure rate is so high is because it is absolutely difficult. You have to stay fit. You have to pay attention to what you're doing. You're obviously sleep deprived. And quite frankly, I've worked with some great women in law enforcement and would hold them, shoulder to shoulder. But at the end of the day, it's not about that. It's about having the strongest, the smartest, the fittest, the most experienced. We're protecting the leader of the free world. We need to quit looking at all these other things. It's interesting to me, you don't staff an NFL team with a certain group. You staff an NFL team with winners. I think the Secret Service has to look at it that way.
There's a reason I'm not a cornerback on the Giants. Tim Miller, we appreciate your time and your insight. Thank you, sir.
I'm Steve Ducey.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.